Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pink English.
Hi, everyone. We are so excited to learn with you today.
I'm Sophia, and this is Daniel. Our goal is to make English easy and fun for you.
Exactly. If you enjoy our lessons, please hit the like button and subscribe. It really supports the channel.
Today, we are talking about deep work.
We will practice listening, learn keywords and phrases, and boost your confidence. Ready? Let's dive in.
I am very excited about this topic, Daniel. It is something I struggle with, and I think many of our listeners do too.
I definitely struggle with it. But first, Sophia, maybe we should explain what deep work actually means. Is it about diving into a swimming pool?
Not exactly, though that is a funny image. The term deep work comes from a very famous author named Cal Newport. It describes a specific way of working. It means focusing without distraction on a cognitively demanding task.
Wow, cognitively demanding. That sounds intense.
It just means a task that uses your brain power, like writing an essay, solving a complex math problem, or perhaps learning a new language like English.
I see. So checking my emails or scrolling through social media is not deep work?
No, Daniel, that is what we call shallow work. Shallow work is the opposite of deep work. It is work that you can do while you are distracted. It does not require intense focus.
I think I am the king of shallow work. I feel like I'm always busy, but sometimes I get to the end of the day and I feel like I accomplished nothing.
That is a very common feeling. In our modern world, we are constantly interrupted. We have notifications, emails, and phone calls. It makes deep work very difficult to achieve.
It's true. Just this morning, I sat down to write a script. Then my phone buzzed. It was a text from a friend. I answered it. Then I checked Instagram. Then I watched a video about cats. Suddenly, 30 minutes were gone.
That is the perfect example of why we need this lesson today. We lose so much time to these small distractions. Deep work is a superpower in the 21st century because it allows you to learn hard things quickly and produce high-quality work.
A superpower? I would love to have a superpower. I want to be able to focus like a laser beam.
We can definitely help you with that. We are going to break down exactly what stops us from focusing, and then we will look at the strategies to fix it.
I am ready. I put my phone on silent mode, Sophia. I am fully focused on you.
That is a great start. Now let's look at the biggest enemies of deep work.
I bet I know the first enemy. It's the word you used earlier, distraction.
You are absolutely right. That is our first keyword for today, distraction. Let's spell that together clearly. Distraction. Distraction.
Distraction. Distraction.
A distraction is a thing that prevents someone from giving full attention to something else. It pulls your focus away from your main goal.
Like when I'm trying to read a book and the television is on in the next room. The sound of the TV is a distraction.
Exactly. Distractions can be external, like the TV or a loud construction site outside your window, but they can also be internal.
Internal distractions. You mean like my own thoughts?
Yes. Have you ever been working and suddenly you remember that you forgot to buy milk? Or you start worrying about an awkward conversation you had 3 years ago?
All the time. Especially when I'm trying to sleep or do something difficult. My brain just starts wandering.
That is an internal distraction. To do deep work, we have to manage both external noise and internal thoughts.
That sounds very hard. I usually try to do everything at once to save time. I listen to a podcast, answer emails, and eat lunch all at the same time.
Ah, Daniel, you have just mentioned the second enemy of deep work. This is a very popular word, but it's actually a myth. The word is multitasking.
Multitasking. I hear this word in job interviews all the time. Let me spell it. multitasking. Multitasking.
Perfect spelling. Multitasking means dealing with more than one task at the same time.
Right, and I thought being a good multitasker was a compliment. You're telling me it's bad?
I'm afraid so. Science tells us that the human brain cannot actually do two things at once that require focus. What you are actually doing is rapid task switching. You are jumping back and forth very quickly.
So when I'm texting and writing a report, I'm not doing them together?
No, you write a sentence, stop, read a text, stop, write another sentence. Every time you switch, your brain has to reorient itself. It loses energy and focus.
That explains why I feel so tired after a day of multitasking. I thought I was being efficient, but I was actually draining my battery.
Exactly. And this leads to a very interesting concept called attention residue.
Attention residue. That sounds sticky. Like when you spill juice on the table and it leaves a sticky spot.
That's a great comparison, Daniel. Let's learn the word residue. R-E-S-I-D-U-E. Residue.
Residue. Residue. It usually means a small amount of something that remains after the main part has gone or been taken or used.
Correct. So attention residue works like this. When you switch from task A to task B, your attention doesn't immediately follow. A residue of your attention remains stuck thinking about the original task.
Wait, can you give me an example? I want to make sure I understand this perfectly.
Of course, imagine you are working on a difficult grammar exercise. That is task A. Suddenly, you check your email and see a message from your boss asking for a report. That is task B.
Okay, I check the email, but then I tell myself I will answer my boss later, and I go back to the grammar.
Exactly. You go back to the grammar, but is your brain 100% on the grammar?
No, I'm probably still thinking about the report my boss wants. I'm worrying about it.
That is attention residue. Your focus is split. You're looking at the grammar book, but part of your brain is still stuck on the email. This makes your performance on the grammar exercise much worse.
This makes so much sense. This happens to me all the time. I quickly check my phone for 1 second, but then I keep thinking about what I saw for the next 20 minutes.
And that's why we need to protect our brain from attention residue. We need to protect our brain from these quick checks.
So the enemies are distraction, multitasking, and attention residue. That's a scary team of enemies.
It is, but don't worry, we have tools to fight them.
I certainly hope so, Sophia. I don't want to be a victim of attention residue forever. Tell me, how do we start doing deep work?
The first step is to create a ritual.
A ritual? That sounds very serious, like something wizards do in a fantasy movie.
It can feel magical if you do it right. Let's spell ritual. R-I-T-U-A-L. Ritual.
R-I-T-U-A-L. Ritual. What does it mean in this context?
A ritual is a religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. However, in the context of productivity, it means a set of specific habits you do every time you are about to start deep work.
So, it is like a routine?
Yes, but with more intention. A routine is something you do automatically, like brushing your teeth. A ritual is something you do to signal to your brain that it is time to focus.
Can you give me an example of a deep work ritual?
Certainly. For me, my ritual is this. First, I make a cup of hot tea. Then, I clear everything off my desk except my notebook. Then, I put on my noise-canceling headphones. When the headphones go on, my brain knows it is time to work.
I like that. It is like a warm-up for athletes. Before they run a race, they stretch and jump. This is a warm-up for the brain.
Precisely. If you just sit down and try to force yourself to work, it's hard. But if you follow your ritual, it becomes a trigger. Your brain switches into deep mode automatically.
I need to invent a ritual. Maybe I will drink a glass of water, close my door, and turn off my Wi-Fi.
Turning off the Wi-Fi is an excellent part of a ritual. That brings us to our next keyword, environment.
Environment. E-N-V-I-R-O-N-M-E-N-T. Environment.
The environment is the surroundings or conditions in which a person lives or operates. For deep work, your environment is critical.
Because if my environment is noisy or messy, I will get distracted, right?
Yes, If your phone is sitting on your desk, even if it is silent, it is a part of your environment that tempts you.
Tempts me.
To tempt means to entice or attempt to attract someone to do something. The phone tempts you to pick it up.
So to change my environment, I should hide the phone?
Put it in another room. Put it in a drawer. If you can see it, it will drain your willpower. You want an environment that is boring.
Boring.
Yes, boring is good for focus. If your room is full of interesting things to look at, you will look at them. If your environment is simple, your brain has nowhere to go but into the work.
I have a lot of posters on my wall and a pile of comic books on my desk. Maybe that is why I cannot focus. My environment is too exciting.
It might be time to declutter, Daniel. Now, once you have your ritual and your environment, you need to structure your time. We use a method called time blocking.
Time blocking. That sounds like playing with blocks. B-L-O-C-K. Block.
To block time means to schedule a specific period of time for just one task. You treat it like an important appointment that you cannot cancel.
So instead of saying, I will study English today, I should say, I will study English from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
Exactly. You draw a block on your calendar. During that block, you do nothing else. No emails, no snacks, no phone calls.
That sounds very rigid. What if I get hungry? What if my mom calls?
Unless it's an emergency, you ignore it. The goal is to build your concentration muscle. If you break the block, you lose the depth.
How long should a block be? Can I do deep work for 5 hours?
Probably not at first. Deep work is exhausting. It burns a lot of energy. Beginners should start with maybe 60 to 90 minutes.
90 minutes, that's an hour and a half. I think I can do that. And after the block?
After the block, you must rest, and I mean real rest, not scrolling on your phone. Go for a walk, stare at the clouds, or stretch.
So the strategy is create a ritual, design a boring environment, and use time blocking to schedule the work.
You have summarized it perfectly. These are the foundations. If you can master these, you will be amazed at how much you can produce.
I'm feeling very motivated, Sophia. I want to try this immediately, but I know that real life is sometimes messier than a perfect schedule.
That is very true. Sometimes things go wrong, or we have to work in a busy office.
Exactly. It's easy to do deep work if you're a writer living in a cabin in the woods, but what if I work in a busy cafe or a noisy office?
That's a great challenge. Why don't we pretend we're in those situations? I think a role play would help our listeners understand how to apply this in the real world.
I love role plays. Let's do it. Who should I be first?
I think you should play the role of the serious worker trying to focus. I will be your friendly but very distracting colleague. We are in a shared office space. It is Tuesday morning, and you have a deadline in 2 hours.
Okay, I'm feeling the pressure already. I'm sitting at my desk, typing furiously on my laptop. I'm trying to finish a report.
Perfect. And I am going to walk over to your desk because I am bored and want to chat. Ready? Action.
Click, click, click. Okay, I really need to focus on this paragraph. If I don't finish this by noon, I am in big trouble.
Hey, Daniel. Good morning. Wow, you look intense. Did you see the football game last night? It was crazy.
Oh, hi, Sophia. No, I didn't see it. I'm actually really busy right now. I have to finish this report for the marketing team.
The marketing team? Oh, are you working with Sarah? She is so funny. Last week, she brought these amazing donuts to the break room. Did you try the chocolate one?
No, I missed the donuts. Sophia, I am sorry, but I really need to be heads down right now. This deadline is very tight.
I totally understand. I hate deadlines. But wait, quick question. Do you know how to fix the printer? It is making a weird beeping noise again. Beep, beep. It is so annoying.
I don't know how to fix it. Maybe ask IT? I really can't stop right now. I'm finally in the zone.
Okay. You are in the zone. I get it. I'll go ask IT. Oh, by the way, are we ordering pizza for lunch? I was thinking maybe pepperoni.
Sophia, please. I'm putting my headphones on now. Let's talk at lunch, okay? Right now, I'm going into deep work mode.
All right. Headphones on, message received. Good luck with the report.
Phew, finally.
And cut. Wow, Daniel, you were actually getting a little frustrated there. I could feel the tension.
I was. It is so hard to be polite when you are trying to concentrate and someone keeps interrupting you with small questions about donuts and printers.
That is a very common situation. You did a great job of protecting your focus, though. You used two excellent phrases that I want to teach our listeners.
I think I know which ones. The first one was when I said, I need to be heads down.
Yes, that is a fantastic idiom for work. Let's spell heads. 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 DOWN. Down. Heads down.
HEADSDOWN. Heads down. It paints a picture, doesn't it?
It does. Imagine someone working so hard that their head is literally tilted down looking at their desk or computer. To be heads down means to be working continuously and intensely on a task, usually without stopping to talk.
So I could say, I can't go to the cinema tonight. I need to be heads down on my university essay.
Exactly. It signals to people that you are not available for socializing. It's a polite way to say, leave me alone, I am working.
I also used another phrase. I said I was in the zone.
That is one of my favorites. Let's spell zone. Z-O-N-E. Zone.
ZONE. Zone.
To be in the zone describes a mental state where you are fully immersed in what you are doing. You feel energized, focused, and fully involved.
Is that the same thing as flow? I've heard people talk about a flow state.
Yes, they are very similar. Scientists often call it a flow state, but in casual conversation we say in the zone. Athletes use it too. A basketball player might be in the zone if they are making every shot.
For me, I'm in the zone when I'm editing a video. Time disappears. I look at the clock and suddenly 3 hours have passed, but it felt like 5 minutes.
That is the magic of deep work. When you're in the zone, the work feels easier and more enjoyable.
But in our role play, I was trying to pull you out of the zone.
And it was working. Every time you spoke, I lost my place in the report. It takes a lot of energy to get back into the zone once you are kicked out of it.
That's why you had to set a boundary. You told me you were putting your headphones on. This is a physical signal.
Yes, in many offices, headphones are the universal symbol of do not disturb. We call that a cue, C-U-E. A cue is a signal to others. If you want to do deep work in a busy place, you need clear cues so people know not to interrupt you.
I think that role play was a good example of dealing with a peer or a friend. But Sophia, what if the person interrupting me is not a coworker? What if it's my boss?
That is much more difficult. You cannot just tell your boss to go away or put on headphones and ignore them. That might get you fired.
Exactly. I think many people struggle with deep work because their bosses expect them to answer emails instantly. They expect shallow work.
That is a very real problem. It requires negotiation. Shall we do a second role play? This time a more formal one.
Yes, let's do it. I'll be the employee again because I need practice asking for things. You be my boss, Mrs. Sterling.
Mrs. Sterling. Okay, I will be very busy, skeptical, and focused on speed. You need to convince me to let you change your schedule to allow for deep work.
Okay, the scenario is I've requested a meeting with you. I want to ask if I can block out 2 hours every morning where I do not check email.
That is a bold request, Daniel. Mrs. Sterling likes fast replies. Okay, I'm sitting in my big office chair. You knock on the door. Action.
Knock, knock. Good morning, Mrs. Sterling. Do you have a moment to chat?
Come in, Daniel. I have about 5 minutes before my conference call with New York. What's going on? Is the quarterly report ready?
That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about. I'm working on the report, and I really want to make sure it's high quality. I have an idea that might help me finish it faster and with fewer errors.
Faster is good, fewer errors is good, but I need you to be available, Daniel. I sent you 3 emails this morning, and you haven't replied yet.
I know, and I apologize. I was trying to focus on the data analysis. Mrs. Sterling, I've noticed that when I check my email every 10 minutes, my productivity drops. I lose my focus on the complex numbers.
Well, that's part of the job, isn't it? Multitasking? We're a fast-paced company.
I understand. However, I propose an experiment. For the next 2 weeks, I would like to block out time from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. as deep work time.
Deep work? You mean you won't answer the phone? What if there's an emergency?
During those 2 hours, I will disconnect from email and Slack. I will focus 100% on the big projects, like the quarterly report. If there is a true emergency, you can call my mobile phone. But for non-emergencies, I will reply immediately at 11:01.
2 hours of silence. I'm worried that clients might get annoyed if you don't reply instantly.
I suspect that the clients will be happier if we deliver the projects 2 days early because I'm working more efficiently. I believe this will actually move the needle on our team's performance.
Move the needle. I like that sound. You really think you can get more done in less time?
I'm confident. And if it doesn't work after 2 weeks, we can go back to the old way. No risk.
Okay, Daniel, I appreciate your initiative. Let's try it. But if I call your mobile, you better pick up.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mrs. Sterling.
And cut. Great job, Daniel. That was a very professional negotiation.
I was sweating a little bit. It's scary to tell your boss you aren't going to check email.
It is. But you framed it perfectly. You didn't say, I don't want to work. You said, I want to work better. You focused on the results.
I think that's the key. Bosses care about results. If deep work brings better results, they will usually agree.
You used a fantastic business idiom there. Move the needle. This is a phrase you will hear in almost every corporate office in America or the UK.
Let's break that down. M-O-V-E, move, T-H-E, the, N-E-E-D-L-E, needle. Move the needle.
Ideally, this comes from the idea of a gauge or a meter, like a speedometer on a car or a pressure gauge. When the needle moves, it means something is happening. It means there is a measurable change.
So if I say, this new marketing strategy really moved the needle, what does that mean?
It means the strategy had a significant positive impact. It made a noticeable difference.
And if I say, we worked hard all day, but we didn't move the needle, it means we wasted our time?
Exactly. It means you were busy, but you didn't make real progress on the big goal. Deep work is the best way to move the needle. Shallow work keeps you busy, but the needle stays at zero.
That is a great visualization. I also use the word experiment. I asked Mrs. Sterling to try an experiment.
That was very clever psychology. Let's spell experiment. E-X-P-E-R-I-M-E-N-T. Experiment.
E-X-P-E-R-I-M-E-N-T. Experiment. Usually, scientists do experiments in labs with test tubes.
Correct, but in a social or business context, proposing an experiment means suggesting a trial period. It makes the idea less scary.
Because nothing is permanent, if I told my boss, I am never checking email in the morning again, she would say no. But asking for a 2-week experiment is safer.
Precisely. It lowers the risk. We call this lowering the barrier to entry. You made it easy for her to say yes.
There is one more word I want to ask about. In the role play, you mentioned Slack. You said disconnect from email and Slack.
Ah, yes. Slack is a proper noun, but it has become a verb in many companies. S-L-A-C-K. Slack. It is a very popular messaging app for businesses.
It's like WhatsApp, but for work, right?
Yes, and it's a major enemy of deep work. The notifications are constant. Ping, ping, ping.
So when we say, I'll Slack you, it means I will send you a message on the Slack app.
Correct. Just like we say Google it for searching, we say Slack me for messaging.
Learning these specific brand names that become verbs helps you sound very natural in a modern workplace.
It certainly does. Now, Daniel, we have covered the definition of deep work, the enemies like multitasking, the strategies like rituals, and how to negotiate it with others.
We have covered a lot, but I feel like there's still a missing piece. We've talked about work, but what about the rest of our lives? Does deep work apply to hobbies or social life?
That is a brilliant question. Deep work is really just deep living. It's about being present. If you are having dinner with your family, but you're checking your phone, you are doing shallow socializing.
Guilty as charged. I do that. Shallow socializing. That sounds terrible when you say it out loud.
It isn't great. We want to apply the same focus to our conversations and our downtime as we do to our work.
So if I'm watching a movie, I should just watch the movie, no phone.
Exactly. Be in the zone with the movie. If you're playing with your kids, be in the zone with your kids.
This is actually a philosophy for life, not just for productivity.
It is. And speaking of life and social situations, there are some very specific ways native speakers talk about being busy or focused when they're out with friends.
You mean excuses, like how to tell a friend you can't come to their party because you're working?
Or how to explain why you didn't text them back for 6 hours. There's a whole set of cultural norms around this.
I definitely need help with that. I'm always afraid of offending people when I ignore their messages.
Don't worry, we'll navigate the social side next. We're going to look at the etiquette of disconnection.
Etiquette. That sounds fancy. But before we get there, let's take a deep breath. We've covered some heavy concepts.
Good idea. A brief pause for our brains to catch up.
Listeners, are you still with us? Are you heads down on this English lesson?
I hope so. If you're listening to this while doing something else, try to pause the other thing for just a few minutes. Give us your full attention.
Okay, Sophia, I'm ready for the social side. How do I tell my friends I'm entering monk mode without losing my friends?
Monk mode. That's a great slang term. Let's actually start with that one in the next section. It fits perfectly into the cultural context.
I love it, monk mode. I imagine wearing a robe and shaving my head.
You don't need to shave your head, Daniel, but you might need to hide away like a monk. Let's explore how to talk about this socially.
That sounds perfect, Sophia, because honestly, if I disappear for 3 days to work on a project, my friends might think I am angry with them. Or worse, they might think I have been kidnapped by aliens.
We definitely don't want them to think that. In English-speaking cultures, particularly in the US and UK, there is a very high expectation of availability.
Right. If you don't reply to a text message within an hour, people start to wonder, is everything okay?
Exactly. So if you want to practice deep work, you need the vocabulary to manage these expectations. You mentioned monk mode earlier. Let's officially teach that one.
I love this phrase, monk mode. M-O-N-K, monk, M-O-D-E, mode.
A monk is a member of a religious community of men, typically living under vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. They live very quiet, secluded lives.
So, monk mode is slang for temporarily living like a monk to get work done. No parties, no social media, just focus.
Yes, you might say to a friend, "Hey, I can't come to dinner this weekend. I'm going into monk mode to finish my thesis."
That is a great excuse. It sounds disciplined and cool. It is much better than saying, I can't come because I am stressed.
It frames your absence as a choice, not a weakness. Another very common phrase we use when we need to disconnect is to go off the grid.
Off the grid. That sounds like a spy movie. O-F-F, off, T-H-E, the, G-R-I-D, grid.
The grid refers to the electrical grid or the network of communication. To go off the grid means to be unreachable by phone or internet.
So I could say, I'm going off the grid for the next 48 hours to finish this report. I will reply to everyone on Friday.
Perfect. This is a very polite way to warn people. It tells them, don't take it personally if I don't answer.
That is key. You are managing the relationship. But Sophia, what happens if I do this and then I start feeling sad that I'm missing the fun?
You are suffering from a very modern condition. We call it FOMO.
FOMO? Is that a word?
It is an acronym that has become a word. It stands for fear of missing out. F-O-M-O, FOMO.
F-O